Hello, hello. Welcome to the Goggler podcast. Ian, Bahir, and Uma with you. And congratulations, boys. We've hit 100 episodes of this thing.
Hey,
Whee!
Forgot the,
Whee!
I forgot the
hey.
TikTok popper type thing. Oh well.
No, it's okay. There's the
Boom.
picture.
Confetti. Oh, yeah. Picture. Yeah, it's got colors. um, yeah, and what 100th episode. We're going to be reviewing Dune.
Dude, finally.
Eh.
Whatever your face.
Foreshadowing.
You liked it. You're just trying to play. Oh wait. The word Ian from our podcast earlier in the week, Jwal Mahal. That is what Bahir is doing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a
Yeah,
pristine example of Jwal Mahal.
Acting pricey.
Acting pricey. That's right.
Yeah.
But we're also going to be talking about the What If finale. Episode 9 aired on Wednesday. And we're going to be covering Free Guy as well, which finally drops in Malaysian cinemas on October 14th. It's been obviously delayed for 2 years, but I think it was released in the US a couple of months ago. It's already available on Blu-ray and VOD over in the States, but we're finally getting it over here. And we got a chance to watch that in cinemas, and we're giving you an advanced review. But before we get into that, we're going to be talking about What If. So we previewed it when we had access to the first 3 episodes. We've now seen the whole series, and I have to say the last episode was incredibly surprising. It didn't go where I expected it to go, and I found it like, for me, the series had its ups and downs. There were some episodes that I felt were kind of meh.
Yeah.
But I think episode 9 kind of brought it all together in a really cool way.
Yeah.
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 What do you think, Bahir? You've seen it the most recently, like an hour ago.
Yes. Literally like an hour ago. Yeah. I mean, I think I like the gathering of the Avengers in inverted commas.
The Guardians of the Multiverse.
Guardians. I don't know if I'll
Yep.
not spoil it, but sure. Yeah, Guardians of the Multiverse. Yeah.
It's been out
With
24
Star-Lord,
hours.
T'Challa, and Captain Carter. Oh, yeah.
You can't see them. Oh, you did. You changed the face on Star-Lord.
No. They
No,
actually
this is
have
the
these.
T'Challa version. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
is
an
it?
official version. Yeah.
When did that come out?
Like just.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
He bought it a couple of days, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah. When he came out, yeah.
That man cannot pass a Lego store without buying something.
it's
No.
so cute and little. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
You
You,
could- yeah,
saying
sorry,
Guardians
sorry.
of the Multiverse.
Sorry, being in Lego shops, sorry, one thing, you can do that all day.
yes, I can.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think this was a nice wrap up. I think it's sort of, I don't know if it sets up season 2, but it definitely closes out season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a nice end. I would have been very disappointed if it was just another standalone episode.
So for me, I was thinking when I reached the last 3 episodes, because essentially the last 3 episodes, starting from the Thor episode, kind of hints at a 3-parter, right?
Yeah.
Because the Thor episode ends on a bit of a cliffhanger with Vision Ultron, and at first when I was watching the episode and then went into the next episode, I was like, oh man, maybe I was completely wrong in my review when I said that, oh, Marvel's trying to do something that's standalone. But it feels like they are. It feels like this is a subset of the MCU, which you can continue watching without caring about the films either.
Yeah,
Or the other TV
feels-
shows.
This feels like DC's animated universe, right? It's sort of on its own.
Yes.
It's in the same world-ish universe, characters.
You think?
It's sort of taking its own thing. It feels like it. I don't.
Like it feels
I-
like they're setting up their own mini MCU within the animation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Although I will say
Yeah.
it would be cool if Agent Carter did show up in the film MCU.
Yeah.
Oh, that would rock.
Haley Atwell would love
That
that.
would be
I would
great.
love that too. I think
Yeah.
I think you both need to stop huffing Infinity Stone powder. I thought this is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted all along. I was hoping for a Guardians of the Multiverse. This is my problem with the
Right.
series from the beginning was they were all these individual things, a little bit like the Star Wars Visions, where if I wasn't wowed by the design or by the songs, then I felt like I was a bit lost. I was
Right.
wondering what they were doing with this, and it
Yeah.
was very clear they were setting it all up as a big plan to have the Watcher come around and say, Star-Lord T'Challa, "You are chosen," and I got
Yeah.
goosebumps. And then
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
kept going from there, and it
Ooh.
looked amazing. The Black Widow, sorry, the Ultron sandwich between two slices of badass female
Oh, yeah.
action hero bread. They did
Yeah.
that. They did a few times. They did a slow down. I'm just like, yeah, look, looks really good now, doesn't it? Yeah, this is what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it all came together perfectly well. The look, the design, everything they had, the story they've been telling. I just wish they had, dropped more hints earlier on, because I do wonder if they had a drop off in people watching before this came along.
Yeah,
Ooh.
actually, that's a good question. I don't know. And I don't know what they were planning for the alleged episode 10, because we know WandaVision lost an episode because of COVID. Falcon was delayed, but I don't know if it had more episodes. But the director
I think I know what
writers
that
have
episode
said,
would have been.
what do you think?
I think it
Gamora.
would have been the Gamora episode.
Yeah.
Oh, with Stark. Yeah,
'cause
most likely.
Yeah.
What's he? He's like wearing. It looks like a
It
combo.
looks like Hulkbuster, right?
Yeah, it's Hulkbuster armor, but it looks like it's made out of like pieces of Sakaar.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Gamora, because
It had
Watcher refers
graffiti
to
and
Gamora.
stuff.
Yeah, there's
as-
graffiti on the head, and on one arm, like
Yeah.
when he turns around on
Yeah.
one arm, there's like three giant, huge claws, which aren't usually on that. So I don't know where that came from. So there's
But
a whole
also,
world there that's like,
because the Watcher refers to Gamora as the sole survivor of Sakaar. So it just feels like that could have been the episode. That
oh.
Oh, yeah.
So
Which
Yeah.
would have made the not you Stark joke a lot funnier.
yeah, but also not you Sack also worked for me. It's just like no,
Yeah.
not now,
Thank
Pike.
you, buddy.
But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what I also I didn't think of that. I forgot about the episode 10 thing, but I thought that would be like maybe we'll see that in a season 2. And they've already
Yeah.
the producers had talked about they would like to check in with Captain Carter,
Yeah.
which they've done now nicely. And just the opening of this, redoing Captain America: The Winter
Oh.
Soldier,
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Just-
That was great, yeah.
No,
fantastic.
but also,
it
these
was
last
great
two
that
episodes. No, go on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was also great that when the Watcher goes around to pick them up, a lot of them were from like stories of the movies, almost.
Oh, in those
Because,
moments.
like
yeah.
like T'Challa, Star-Lord, Egon is.
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He's at the beginning of
Ego.
Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Ego. Yeah, he's saving Peter Quill, and so it's sort of like you recognize those moments. Maybe maybe the Thor one is from last episode. but
Sorry,
it
I
was quite nice
have to correct you guys. Can we stop referring to him as Thor? It's Party Thor or it's nothing.
Okay. Wait,
I-
are we
I was-
going
I
with
was-
Party Thor? Is that the official term, or are we going with, or because I'd like to throw out Vegas Thor too.
Vegas Thor also works. I mean,
Well,
I was
Viva
hoping
Las Vegas is a battle cry from now on.
I was hoping that someone in the show would refer to him as like Party Thor. It's like, come Party Thor, let's go or something, but never happened. So
Yeah, but because they've never met Thor, right?
yeah.
We're not. Yeah, we're saying but no. Okay, Party Thor. Cool. I'll take that.
But also, this episode completely negates my feelings of the Doctor Strange episode, because if that was just a standalone, it was meaningless, and yet everything is justified in this episode.
Oh.
And even at
yeah.
even at the end, he's still, he's not out. He's back in his box.
No.
He has to watch those
Exactly.
guys.
He's just got to watch those
That's
guys.
his job
But,
now. Yeah.
yeah, suddenly it makes sense. It gives that ending a lot more gravitas and meaning, right? And so, yeah.
I kind of disagree. I
because you like
the-
that episode anyway.
I
Yeah.
liked that episode anyway. Yeah. So
I thought-
it's
I like,
alone fine.
yeah, I like the concept of that ending of that episode, but I thought that it just kind of ended really suddenly. It's like that I could have done with like a little maybe Watcher talking to the camera, Ron Serling
an
style.
outro.
It needs a Ron Serling stepping in as like hubris. One thing,
Yeah.
they needed all that kind of stuff. Although,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just
I also-
loved every minute. I love them like. This is kind of they got to do the Thanos fight that they can't really. The Thanos fight in Endgame was great, but we got to see the kind of comic booky Infinity
Yes.
Gauntlet fight where they're just keeping him busy by repeatedly punching him in the head, and that always works. And just like multiple shields hitting him, laser blasts, just Killmonger's claws, everything. Just was just like repeated moments of watching. I mean, it would have been even better if it was what's his name from the Ultron movie. If it had been the guy from the Blacklist.
James Spader.
If it had been James Spader muttering those grunts and ers as he was getting slapped in the face, but just the action, everything about this was just so well put together. I was just like, I was loving all of that.
Yeah, no, same. And also, I love the fact that the action felt different. Like all of it, all of the crazy things you can do in animation, the stunts, the fight sequences, that last bit with Black Widow and Captain Carter doing their thing. I mean, yeah, sure, special effects, visual effects, you can do that on movies now, but this one looked absolutely stunning, and
because it's all painted with the same
new
brush,
and fresh. Yeah, everything was new and fresh, right? And it was genuinely thrilling.
If I have one complaint that Hotstar needs to sort out, it's that the play pause when you're watching on the internet, pause needs to work quicker because there's like a lag or doesn't. I think they've got a debounce so you don't accidentally turn it on and off and off. You know, accidentally turn it off or turn it on when you're watching it, or don't hit the button too many times. Because I tried for about 10 minutes to get that pic of Carter flying with the shield in front of her at the end.
That was so cool.
As she backflips off Ultron, and it's like, I couldn't get that exact moment to get that screenshot.
But they do this thing where if you pause and then you leave it and you come back and you click play, they play from like 10 seconds before.
Oh, do they? Is that on the app or that in the web?
That was on the Apple TV app. So I don't know if it's an Apple TV feature or an app feature, but it's kind of cool because I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that. I need a little refresher from the toilet break I just took.
Never noticed that.
You should get that looked at. You need a refresher from 10 seconds ago, from 5 minutes ago. Okay.
Hey man, we watch so much shit, it all kind of blurs into one thing.
Are you spending an awful lot of time in the bathroom? That
a
also
lot of
should
time
get that checked
taking
out.
poos, yeah.
Anyway,
this thing might take a lot longer for us to see a season 2, I guess, because animation just takes a lot longer. I mean, as we've seen from these episodes, this doesn't look like the standard crappy stuff we get out of Marvel.
Yeah.
This looks really good. And yeah, if anyone's got Disney Plus or Disney Plus Hotstar, you can watch a whole bunch of Marvel cartoons, and they're just, the quality is not even close to what we got.
But those are not new though, right?
Yeah, they're older stuff, but
they're still making new stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so they're still making at least like a few years ago, they're Hulk and Agents of Smash, and there are still new Avengers and Spider-Man cartoon coming out. Yeah, so
I do wonder with this. I mean, they've spent the money to do the design and stuff like that, and the rigging on these models. So returning to these characters might be a little cheaper. It's not going to be that massively cheaper, but they also, I don't know, they did things in this that were very cool. I don't know if they're borrowing tech from Sony and the Spider-Verse stuff. You know when Steven was like about to unleash his tentacles of doom? And there's like, it's really comic booky. It's almost like webs of Spider-Man emanating out, and on one side it's him normal, on the other side it's him as a weird freakish monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you don't usually get to see in 3D animation, because it's like meshing two different models together or something. And
did you see really Kirby dots?
There's so many Kirby dots. It's everywhere. All those black dots every time Ultron fires his hand. I always get confused which way I'm pointing. I had so many pictures of Kirby dots lined up for this box, and I just didn't get this. This is the short intro that we don't want to spoil people for, so I didn't use all those pictures. I have a folder full now of images from this episode and this series.
What are you going to do with all these images?
Gonna have them rotating as my
infinite
desktop.
loop of desktop wallpaper? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got when we get to our feature review later, there's something there that I want as a looped video in the background for
nice.
TVs.
That's some real nice screensavers in that movie.
Yeah. The thing that I'm most excited about with season 2 of What If is, I guess it's a lot cheaper and easier to do than in live action, is that they can bring in phase 1, 2, 3 characters and phase 4 characters, because it's all animation, right? And I guess you've got to pay for a couple of hours of voice acting, but you can have Shang-Chi hang out with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
You can do,
Cumberbatch
stuff.
Cumberbatch seems to be on board. Renner is on board. They're like, sure, we'll do some voiceover. We love this shit.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, because I think that's very Marvel, right? When you read the comics, everyone's just hanging out and fighting with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, look, they brought in Kurt Russell for just ego for that one.
For like one line.
You know, it's just like, and it's actually, because I saw the name come up in the opening credits. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they're gonna go there. And then to just see one line, you go like, really? This is all we get? I mean, I get it. With
he
like
zoomed it in from home, man. They didn't bring him in.
I'm sure he's got his own like high-end sort of recording audio studio back there.
Well, it's the same with Stanley Tucci, right? In the first episode,
smaller guys, but
hasn't Kurt Russell got a recording studio or something? Or does he released?
Does he do music?
I'm thinking of Jeff Bridges, aren't I? Jeff Bridges just does
music.
music.
Yes, Jeff Bridges does music. Yeah, but no, Stanley Tucci in the first episode, they had him in for like one line, and that's it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But no, all in all, two thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Two
for
thumbs
What
way
If.
up, yeah. I'm really impressed with it now. I'm on board. Back
No,
on
great
board
fun.
again.
Yeah, absolutely. Great fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh,
very cool.
and sorry, the last thing. Trust me, the world, the time. That world, that time needs Captain Carter. Just fucking waterworks all over the place. That was just...
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. And although I do think that shows like this need to be careful, because if they don't have mid-credits stingers, they should announce when they're going to have a mid-credit stinger, because you can miss things. And this episode has a mid-credit stinger.
So I base it entirely like on the US Disney Plus app. It only shrinks the credits
After the singers.
after the stinger. If it has an end credits, it keeps playing and in the big screen as opposed to going tiny. I think Netflix does the same as well, right?
Yeah.
Where the flashy 5-second warning doesn't pop up if there's stuff after the credits.
Doesn't do it if you look on the web. It just start. It just plays out, and I'm like, it doesn't go. It won't go next episode because there isn't next episode, so it just plays out. And I was like, I should check just to see if there's anything after this, because it's the last one. There was.
Yeah. What If is now streaming on Disney Plus Hotstar and Disney Plus if you're living outside of Malaysia. Let us know what you thought of this entire season. You can check out our reviews on the website. You can also check out our podcast where we reviewed What If a few weeks ago. Well, 9 weeks ago. And let us know your thoughts. Goggler MY.
God, 9 weeks ago.
9 weeks ago, are all of our social media feeds. Also podcast at goggler.my to email us, and 012-524-5208 is the Goggler hotline. You can give us a WhatsApp over there and talk about What If as well. Let's get to some of the movies we're going to be talking about this week. The first one is Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy. This thing has been delayed so many times. It is a Fox release, and Ryan Reynolds has been promoting it for about 2 years now, and we finally got a chance to watch it. And it is a video game movie of a sort. Ryan Reynolds plays Guy, who is an NPC, non-playable character in an open world RPG type thing, MMO, yeah. And he's tired of his life and he yearns for something more. There's something within him that tells him there is something more. And and he suddenly kind of gains some sort of sentience. And that's where the movie kind of kicks off, right?
Yeah.
I had fun watching this in the cinema. I thought from the trailers that I knew what I was going to expect, but I feel they did a really good job in explaining the why behind why he feels like he wants more.
Yeah.
And also the key relationships in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything between him and Molotov Girl and Keys. All of that is kind of an interesting resolution as well. They do something different with it, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like that too. They really like that. When that happened, I was like, oh, it really ties the rug together. Just going to be Jeff Bridges.
It didn't get stupid, right? Were you
Yeah.
worried it was like I
thought it was just going to be
just going to get dumb.
It was going to be hand wavy, or it was going to be a magic thing. It's just like he just becomes sentient because the internet, because the internet's sentient, man. They just have some Denis Leary style, not Denis Leary. Who am I thinking of? The guy with the magic bus. Anyway, never mind. They just have like Marshall McLuhan, someone like that, saying like, "Oh, it's all sentience is baked in, man. It's code wants to be some bullshit." Or fucking Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves walks into the office as an IT consultant kind of thing. So, but they didn't do that. It actually made sense, and I really liked that. But also because of those ups and downs, it veers into Wall-E territory at one point.
Yeah, a little bit.
And because of that, and also at the beginning, it really veers into the opening of the Lego Movie.
Yes,
like,
almost exactly
to a ridiculous extent, to the point like that was like, okay, we got what you're doing, but I get you want to use that trope of establishing normality, but you're literally doing the exact same scenes. This is
the only thing he isn't doing is singing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was weird, but because then of like, so I was weirded out about the everything wasn't awesome, or everything was kind of awesome, and then we have the Wall-E bit, and we have some other kind of reversals and back and forths. I felt it was a little bitty. Did you think that there wasn't an essential quest or propulsive quest?
Oh, it was plenty bitty. There was
Yeah.
so many moments that felt
Yeah.
like small sketches
Yeah.
in video game universe world, right? Because you have to hit these points to kind of attract anyone who likes playing video games, so they get their little moment. And
But it
that's
also
it,
feels
though.
like they're montaging a lot. So like for example, when Molotov Girl says, "Oh, go away and gain levels, go up a level," and then you just go through this thing, and it just feels like I get it, but at the same time, it would have been nice to have, I don't know, spent a bit of time there, like make that part of his growing up mission or
But
something.
Yeah, I thought he was going to end up being relentlessly pursued by the policy operatives. You know,
exactly,
the cop.
because after that
Because a key thing
initial scene,
for
yeah,
everyone wondering, you know, there's a reason why they don't just turn him off. They think he's a player character that someone's spoofing their ID, so they look like a non-player character. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to look like the non-player characters because this isn't that third Assassin's Creed game where you can look like a background player then stab the other guy in the face.
yeah,
So you're not supposed to be doing that because that's griefing, and they, you know, if they can't disconnect you, they can't find you, they can't ban your account, they come and get you. And I thought they would have made more of that. Like it's one pursuit scene that's kind of forgotten about. I thought that would ramp up. To what you're saying, Bahir, I really did like the way that when he did have a montage. Yes, it's an action movie montage, but also this is not. He doesn't deal with the issue by just becoming another bad player like everyone else. It's another nice element
Correct.
to the whole
Yeah.
thing. There's an almost an anti-violence element to it, where it's like
Yeah.
he doesn't just end up going for the BFG, the big fucking gun, or you know, leveling up until he's just nuking everybody, or he's insta-killing everybody in the map. He does it in a different way and changes the way the game is experienced for people, and that was. It's interesting again, but it's bits. It's like the fact of the matter is, this is Jodie Comer's movie. It's her quest. Everyone else is just on for a ride, right? But you don't get her movie, if you know what I mean.
You're right, and I think that's part of the problem, that lack of focus. There isn't a specific theme, like you said. There's an anti-violence message, there's the anti-capitalist message, there's the video game questing going on, and it's a lot of different things. That said, though, I think they were very clever and not in your face about all of those video game elements, like in the sense that we all play video games and we see all these things happening in the backgrounds that would happen in an MMO. But at the same time, most video games movies, because they're made by Hollywood studios, every time something like that happens, the character is practically looking at the camera and winking at you. Like
you see, like there's
gamer, this one's for you.
You see someone glitching out in the background, and it does look like you know, every glitches in World of Warcraft going back decades, where someone's got a dodgy connection and they're jumping all over the place and lagging all over the shop. And there's a few bits and pieces of nice stuff like that, but again, it doesn't feel like, again, to say the Lego Movie or any Minecraft, it doesn't feel like a game like even the first Wreck-It Ralph, not so much the second one, but it doesn't feel like they're leaning into that in the humor. And I think the prolonged release period, there is I can't remember what website it was. I was looking for some information for when I was writing my review. There's an article about like Ryan Reynolds being involved with the marketing of this, and like how he shot about, I think it was 20 or 30 little extra bits to use in the advertising, as opposed to the 3 or 4 that stars usually do. And it's like, I mean, you don't know.
And they ran out?
No, I don't know if they ran out, but it was just like it was kind of pushing the fact that like he was super involved in the marketing of it. He was involved. Yes. He was interested. It wasn't like take the paycheck and run. It wasn't like don't talk to me anymore. You know, he was interested in it. He also they had cross branding with the Korg and Deadpool, watching the trailer kind of thing and all that stuff, and that was cute and fun. But it did still end up that I think we saw most of the best gags in trailers and stuff, right?
Yeah,
a lot of them. I know Bahe didn't get one of the gags spoiled for him, but I was like, I follow Ryan Reynolds on Instagram. Big mistake. Like he just posts all the videos there. So I was just scrolling and I was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "No."
Because the Nemesis, right? The Nemesis was that one? Was that?
Oh
that
no,
one?
not even the Nemesis. It's the cool reference gag.
Oh yeah.
And the Nemesis as well. I mean, the Nemesis. I mean, a lot of you may have seen this because it's in every single trailer now.
Don't watch those trailers. If you have any, if you've any interest in what we said so far, go see it. It is fun, but we're nitpicking because we love, or like we're not
no,
love hard.
but also I guess we're nitpicking because I think the laughs would have been harder if I hadn't already seen so many of the jokes.
Yeah, totally.
And the thing is, I was laughing hard at the jokes I hadn't seen. So like
The few,
yeah, the few jokes, like the Nemesis bit, he's an underdeveloped NPC, and some of those lines aren't in the trailers. And when he says them, I was like, hey, yeah, those were really good. And so it's a marketing problem yet again. And I understand the movie's been 2 years late, and they need to find a way to get people in.
Yeah.
But
they
I have
need
a
to keep
feeling,
talking about the movie, and I think that's the problem.
Yet again,
right?
I have a feeling when it comes to something like this, especially with a star like Ryan Reynolds, it feels like you don't keep having to show people new things to get them excited. You just need to remind them that a Ryan Reynolds movie is coming out, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe those guys in Hollywood know better.
Just keep releasing small clips of him looking at his goldfish. I'm in.
Fucking it. Hey, Goldie. Good morning, Goldie.
I do want to say as well, actually, the reference gags that you didn't get annoyed over here. There is, I laughed at those. I was surprised at those, but I was also slightly worried at those because they're that kind of Ready Player One. I think it's slash film somewhere else that talks about this. They call them member berries. It's like the reference is remember this. The reference it's nothing. It's nothing more than that. You know what I mean? It's not like this ties into thematically to something. It's just like, look at this cool thing that you remember from your youth. And there's a danger in that. I mean, I did like the cut to the guy who holds the thing, who's most associated with holding the thing.
Yeah.
That was very funny. The second one, I was like, oh, okay. Because everyone says, has he got a thing? It's like, oh, he's got a thing. I was like, you'd be hard pressed to find someone on the planet who doesn't know what that goddamn thing is. You don't have to say, is that a thing?
Wait.
I think it's also
Ian,
the problem is that.
Am I right in thinking that Ryan Reynolds was supposed to have that part or audition for that part?
Huh?
Like originally back in the day.
Maybe, I can't remember.
Oh, because that's why I thought they were making reference to. But anyway.
I mean, it was cute, but kind of you kind of expected like buy the game now available on PlayStation Plus. You know what I mean, kind of thing at that point.
Yeah, but for me, I know what you're saying, Ian, but it was I by that point I was kind of on board because it felt like these are the kind of things that would happen in real
in Fortnite.
IRL,
they have the Emperor's message to the last Star Wars movie play in the fucking Fortnite for no reason.
Yeah, I mean when Galactus shows up, it's just like okay, it just feels like that's the kind of world we live in. I think my only comment would be like that.
Yeah, that's the world we live in.
Yeah,
stop it. Make it mean something.
Okay.
When you get to, and I don't think I might. Fortnite might still be updating on my Xbox as we speak. Just keeps updating. It hasn't opened. It's like sitting there neglected in the corner. But when the Infinity, this is again, there's probably children have been born and are now level 100 at this point since this event happened. But when you got the Infinity Gauntlet, you could be Thanos for a bit and you could smash everybody. And then as soon as they picked down your health, the gauntlet went on to somebody else. So, those things are literally happening,
But I think that's why something like Ready Player One kind of stands apart, right? Because I think the idea of the book and also the fact that Warner or DreamWorks doesn't necessarily own all of these properties and getting all of that licensing, it feels like when Disney does it, it just feels a little gratuitous.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look at everything we have, so we're going to make a really shitty 3-minute Loki episode.
Not only that, look at all this.
Simpsons, that is absolutely meaningless. And
I still haven't watched that. Yeah.
Don't waste your time. Yeah. It's just kind of pointless. Yeah. Also, to correct you, Ian,
it's not that
it'll never be available on PlayStation Plus because there is nothing of value on PlayStation Plus. It is a piece of shit. Sorry. Side note. I'm just upset because I log in and I'm just like, nobody wants to play that game. Meanwhile, this fucker on Game Pass gets all the new shit.
Yeah.
Can I just say, this month's PlayStation Plus free game is PGA Tour 2K21, and I've downloaded that, so I'm looking.
Sure,
nice.
You enjoy your golf.
Yeah, played a lot of that. I played a lot of that time.
I want Disco Elysium. You enjoy your golf.
It's on PlayStation. You can play it right now on PlayStation. You have to wait. You don't have to wait the 5 days till it's on Switch, and you should wait 7 or 8 days just in case it's only cloud or
it craps out.
Or it craps out all the fucking time. A few of the things I want to bring up. It's weird because when we watched, I was thinking back again, Fatherhood. Fatherhood was so long. It seems so long ago now. It seems like back in the day we watched that movie. Yeah. It seems like little Rel Howery gave tips to Taika Waititi on how to be an annoying as fuck and didn't end up being annoying as fuck because he totally redeemed himself as Guy's buddy. Also, I think the Guy thing has got to be a reference to like one, it's the GUI, like the look and feel, but also like
that's what I thought it was. Yeah,
the classic Secret of Monkey Island that was the character was called Guybrush for a long time
Guybrush
because
Threepwood. Yeah.
you had to create a brush object in the program in order to have a character, and so the sprite was just called Guybrush. We'll figure up with a name later, and that's stuck. So I guess that was that.
Yeah.
But his buddy, he's great in this. And as a flip, I love everything Taika Waititi does, and I hated him in every moment of this. And it wasn't in the I hate the character in this movie, like he's a boo his villain. It wasn't that. It was just I found him annoying and just like
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
He didn't bother me. I know you mentioned this before we went into the screening, and you were like, "Just let me know if you hate the guy." And I was like, he's not really bothering me all that much because I think also because he's not in it very much. Because he kind of comes and goes for like a couple of minutes here and there.
But when he's there, he's over the top in a way that's like it's not. If it was like 2 octaves higher or 2 octaves lower, it would be funny. But in this level, it's just like, God, why does anyone do anything for you? And I know there's plenty of stories of toxic workplaces in the video game industry that maybe he got notes, but I don't want to be a baddie. You know, you want to be a baddie you're rooting against. And I think another slight problem with the movie is he's the villain of the piece, and he never faces Guy.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
And he never faces Keys either. Not really.
No.
Yeah, they have a semi-abrupt moment in an office.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But it plays back into it being Jodie Comer's movie because she has the arc, she has the inciting incident, and she has the conflict at the end resolved, right?
Also, I have to say, Jodie Comer, fucking amazing, right? Because I've seen her in this, I've seen her in Killing Eve, and I've seen her in that ITV Frontliner TV series. All three completely different roles. She has range like you wouldn't believe. She's amazing. She even looks completely different.
Yeah, I haven't seen Killing Eve yet either.
Yeah,
Guys,
this is my first one, and I was like, oh, yeah,
Killing
there's something
Eve.
about this Jodie Comer lady. Yeah.
You need to watch Killing Eve. It is amazing. No, it is amazing. Like that is like as far as TV shows go, that is right up there. Yeah.
It's just going to the referencing. It's funny how like I didn't spot too many references to other things, but there is like Halo vehicles in this in the background, like you wouldn't even notice it. Yeah, the poster, the IMAX poster that looks like Forrest Gump that I used for the review on the website, Goggler.mine.
Yeah.
There's a Scorpion tank, which is like barely used in the Halo games. It's like a walking mech you use for like one level and then it's gone. And there's a Scorpion, the tank that points at him when he's in the coffee shop. That's a Scorpion tank, I think, from the Halo games. It's weird design looking. But I didn't spot an awful lot of other stuff like that. They didn't seem to have... I was just going to
say, I didn't see many real world video game references.
Yeah.
Like Mario didn't pop up at any point, or that kind of stuff.
This would seem
these movies love to do, right?
Tailor made for like a year-long Fortnite tie-in, but I don't know. Disney are going to launch Free City themselves instead of giving Epic Games any money, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they acquired anyone recently?
I didn't mind that. I didn't think that didn't really bother me. I liked that it was its own standalone game with its identity, and I think.
But the Free City font, it's Grand Theft Auto meets it's the Far Cry font.
Yes.
Yes.
Even,
it's like Grand Theft Auto meets Far Cry meets SimCity.
Yeah, meets Fortnite because you got the goofy dances and stuff. The dancing guy. I didn't realize that was him the first time you saw him.
Oh, really? In the car?
No, I didn't recognize him at first. And when I see it later, it's like, okay. And then that scene goes on for too long a little bit as well. It's like they thought they...
It ran a bit long, yeah.
Right? We get the gag and...
Yeah. There's also a lot of voice actors. Like, if you... Like, in the credits, there's a lot of special appearances. And it's just like, I didn't notice any of those guys. And it just felt a bit of a waste.
But all of those were just Ryan Reynolds' friends, so it was just like, oh, I guess he just called him up to record some stuff for him, right? That's what it felt like. But it feels like and it was such throwaway moments as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look. So I reckon. So it was Hugh Jackman in the alley. I sounded like I wasn't sure. I didn't realize it's Dwayne Johnson, John Krasinski. So, but did they just do voiceovers, or did they like vacuuming mom? Where was vacuuming mom? Tina Fey?
Yeah,
it was the mother,
the kid,
the boy's mother.
Mom!
Oh, geez, okay.
You have to do that now.
But was it actually her in the background, like the actress, or was it like a voice? Okay, because the
I
other characters were masked, so it's just like we gotta. They just put a casting note up for a Hugh Jackman type.
or big hulking guy will just replace his voice with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, that's me. They could just say no. You can actually just say Hugh Jackman type because we're going to put the voice over it. Although, that's the other thing. Sorry, I just realized who else is the list. The streamers thing.
Yes, I know. You had a thing about that. Yeah.
I just found it annoying. I was
yeah.
That the only reason that didn't bother me so much, I have no
idea who those people
are. So for me,
yeah.
it just could have been any random. Pokemon's the only person that I've seen because she was in the news recently for something. It was either news or TikTok or something. Like that. But everyone else,
the guys is a famous guy, right?
But like Ninja, Ninja. But the thing is, it's gonna
Ninja's in it.
Ninja's in it. There's no PewDiePie. I think he's retired. He's gone.
Ninja was the only guy I noticed.
PewDiePie's just beating people up in Vegas. Right?
There was the Irish guy, Jacksepticeye, which that's I'm 60 few more degrees closer to Ryan Reynolds because I was in a full motion video of a game and Jacksepticeye's played that game and said, "Is this guy Irish? What's going on with his accent?"
Nice.
I think he has a 4
He noticed you.
He says, "Senpai has seen me." He has a 4-part video playing the game I'm in. He keeps puzzling. Like, this Rex guy's fucking terrible. Oh, wait, he's all right. It's funny. So, yeah, millions of people have seen him dump on me. So maybe that makes it bitter because of that. But it just felt like you're taking away from the story. You have these people reacting, "Oh, I can't believe this is happening." It's like, yeah. We got that from the reaction of the characters in the story. It feels weird. And in literally 6 months to a year, those is going to be like, who are these people? Or what's going on here?
No, but it's not even that. I mean, you say 6 months to a year, but as of now, I know one guy from that, right?
Yeah, but we're not the demographic.
We're not the demographic. No. Exactly.
They're not making any of their money off us at all, but they are making an awful lot of money off people who are growing up with them. And it's like when we watch the Naked Gun movies and like we're looking at sports commentators who have been dead for decades. We've no idea who they are, you know?
And I think that's exactly what this is, right? They think this movie, they're trying to get all 4 quadrants. So they know, the Ryan Reynolds is 1 quadrant. Then the fact that it's a video game movie will appeal, to myself and Bahir as well, who may not game on Twitch all the time. And then they're thinking, how do we get the younger guys? Let's throw in some faces they recognize.
Yeah. No, but it just feels like such throwaway gags and inserts, right?
Yeah,
and it's just the
because
that's
look, like that's another thing Rob Lowe can add to Attack of the Hollywood cliches, right? It's the vox pops, and also for some reason everyone is watching this in Japan, in India, on the streets, in China, at a restaurant.
I didn't need that. I didn't need to make it a global thing. It could have just been that. I don't know. I occasionally go into a Wikipedia hole and you find out there was some griefer in World of Warcraft, or maybe I'm just thinking of that South Park episode where someone just turns up and kills somebody repeatedly and disappears. And you know, legend tell of these things happening. Having seen them happen to people in the game is funny. Seeing other people talk about them happening to people in the game is like, you're going a bit too far now.
But was that a joke, or were they being like, for example, if it was just broadcast to people playing the game, I get it. But then watching those old people eating noodles at a restaurant and seeing what's happening on the game, I'm like, is that them making fun of the cliche?
Maybe, but it wasn't funny.
It just feels like that. It just feels like that moment in any sort of Michael Bay world-ending movie. Look, Transformers had that sequence, right?
Yes.
In Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Chuck Denomalos had that thing that turned all the TV channels on the planet over to the channel he was on in San Dimas High. So everyone had no choice but to turn over. Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? I mean, we're nitpicking, but we genuinely enjoyed this film. So, like, it's a good time at the cinema for 2 hours, for 90 minutes, or whatever, however long the running time is. You will laugh. And like Ian said in his review on the site, Ryan Reynolds' weaponized charm is on full display in this film.
Yeah. And it subverts it slightly, but it's one of these like interesting things that happens, but the scaffolding doesn't hold up the whole thing, I think.
It just feels like it's not worth. No offense, but it's not something I'm going to rewatch. If it comes on TV, I might watch it again, but I'm not going to make the effort to go watch it again in the cinemas.
I might watch the Lego Movie or WALL-E, or there's an element.
I was just going to say
there's a bit of Short Circuit in there as well.
Yeah, but no, I was just going to say, I think it's a question of originality and laughs, right? I mean, the reason WALL-E still blows my mind, even though I've seen it a few times already. I'm always just in awe of how clever it is and how fun it is. And it's the same with something like the first Hangover movie. Like if you're looking for like the haha laugh out loud comedy. Meanwhile, there are funny things in this film, and there are original moments.
There's a lot of wry grins.
Yeah, but it doesn't elevate to the classic status.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
we've
guess
got nothing else to watch.
Yeah,
so,
and also
hey.
I guess Ryan Reynolds get kills repeatedly in a movie as a genre now with 2 Deadpool movies and this.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. He dies a lot.
That's an attack of another Hollywood cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Ryan Reynolds cliche. Yeah.
So Free Guy opens October 14th in Malaysian cinemas. Next week, when it opens, is actually quite a busy week. I think they've got Free Guy, they've got Dune, and they've got a Disney animation called Ron's Gone Wrong. I think it's one of the Fox animations.
Yeah.
And so, but that one's made by people who used to work at Aardman. So I'm interested to check that out as well.
Oh, the people who brought you Washed Away, Flushed Away?
Flushed Away?
The 3D one, right? That was the 3D Aardman?
Yes, but no, this isn't actually Aardman.
Oh, I know. But
Ex Aardman, yeah.
Probably the single. Because that movie didn't do as good as all the other Aardman movies.
No.
It's no Chicken Run.
No Chicken Run. So yeah, check out Free Guy when it comes out. I know we've been nitpicky about it, but we still think you will enjoy it. And it's Ryan Reynolds, man. What's there not to love? All right, now for the moment we've been waiting for a very, very long time. Dune.
Wow.
Dune. We got a chance to attend the press preview of Dune today. Yet another movie that's been delayed for a while. This one's directed by Denis Villeneuve, and it is the first in what is apparently just a 2-part adaptation. And it premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and we are getting it October 14th as well. This one stars Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, just a shit ton of people who are all fantastic. Zendaya, Stellan Skarsgård, everyone's in this film.
Javier Bardem.
And Javier Bardem, of course. And I have to say, this is probably the most faithful adaptation I have seen. I recently reread the novel before watching the film, so the novel's pretty fresh in my mind. And this one captures a lot of how I pictured it in my head.
Interesting. Okay.
The only thing that surprised me was how much was in this film. In the sense that it opens and the title card says Dune Part 1. It doesn't say so on any of the posters.
No.
I think they put it in later.
But I want that as a poster because that treatment's nice.
Yes.
The Part 1 one.
But, so the copy of the book I have is about 450 odd pages, and this movie covers about 300 pages of it.
It's almost it's as faithful as the first Chris Columbus Harry Potter movie, right? They just put the book on screen.
Yeah,
almost.
They put the book on screen, but this one's 2/3 of the way through. So I'm wondering whether he's expanded the second half, which is why because he did say that he made certain changes, and the obvious changes aside, like they've scaled down the kind of Arabic references for sure in a big way.
Some of them, not all of them.
Not all of them. And they've made, I think they've given the female parts a lot more prominence and depth.
And they've even pumped up some stuff in the Lynch, the Liette Kynes role feels a bit more than I had Max von Sydow in the David Lynch version, but
in the David Lynch
the character
movie,
gets more to do here. But even though it says,
yes,
"Let me check you out, my boy," I think that was the line that Sydow said, Max von Sydow said, right?
Yeah.
Because you can see him saying "my boy,"
Yeah, there are a lot of and yet again there are a lot of lines and I think Villeneuve it's very clear that he intentionally did this. There are key lines that you remember from the novel that are repeated word for word, and it's not just the fear is the mind killer thing that everyone knows, but there are key lines, and it feels like those are checkpoints for a lot of people, whether you're even if you're a newbie reading the novel, those things stand out to you, right?
And the sleeper and the sleeper must
people
awaken
don't have to point it out,
and the sleeper must awaken is not one of those, because that's not the book. It's from the David Lynch movie.
It's from the movie.
Oh, interesting.
But
there'll be no Sleepers Awakening on this podcast.
I was very impressed. I was kind of visually, it was beautiful. Yeah, man. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Ian, before we get by his opinion, because he's a complete noob when it comes to Dune.
Yeah.
We would like your ode to ornithopters.
Ornithopters are the best. These ornithopters fucking slap. I was like, finally, these are so good. Ornithopters, they're just, I just love that. You see, you hear something in the book. I was going to ask you. I need to get you to take a screenshot of the book and just send it to me to what the description of them in the book is, because
oh yeah,
you know, they're basically dragonfly shaped airplane thingies, but like the David Lynch movie they look like cable cars with like no wings kind of thing. It's a bit of a fudge because so much is going on in that film. The not IO. There's a French company that made the first Dune game. There was 2 Dune games. That one game was greenlit, then it looked like it wasn't going to be made, and then the second game was made, which was the kind of real-time strategy game. But then the first one, the adventure game, came out anyway, and they had ornithopters that were very like this with the kind of canopies and the wings, and they just look badass. Like the design of these things is cool. The design of the movie is exceptional. Like it is great.
Yes.
I have difficulty because like I've played so many games, read the books. I've
seen all the shows, all the shows.
I've watched all the versions, and it's what you talk about, like seeing the lines verbatim thing again. It's like, oh well, I'm starting to check it off. I kind of found myself not able to enjoy the movie. Like I said to you guys as we left, I keep waiting for Everett McGill to turn up as Stilgar at the end, because it's like you could probably intercut scenes from the David Lynch movie, and you might not notice a few things.
Huh.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you on that front, which is why I was thinking to myself after the film, I need to watch this again, because when I was watching it this first time, I was doing the exact same thing, because I've read all the books, I've seen all the versions, I know exactly what's going to happen next, right? But then when I left the cinema, I was wondering, with something like Dune, with the fan base, I feel like it's not something that a director can bring his own vision to. It feels
right.
It's such a dense book, and so like the book, yes, there's a story that's going on. There's this epic tale of the chosen one, etc., Messiah, whatever. But there's also history bits and like world building bits, and the book
actual
is
geology, not geology.
Ecology. Actual ecology. There's a ton of stuff going on.
Although Frank Herbert thought out a lot of the stuff about the waters and the worms and the spice and the life cycle that you'll find out in part 2 probably. But there is a big question of where does all the oxygen come from? You hear about that? There's no plants, so there's nothing like that. So they reckon it's sandworm farts. That's what everyone's breathing all the time. Just farts in your mouth all the time.
Maybe it doesn't stink so bad. Because all you're having is spice.
Yeah.
Thank you for ruining it, Ian. I was on board until you said worm farts, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. Thanks. I'm lost.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is a mental checklist where it's like, whoa, there's the ornithopters and they're cool. There's Gurney. There's Tuffer Howat. There's Peter de Vries.
Yeah.
There's there's the Christ knife. There's the Beast Raban. Where's Fade? Nobody knows. Where's Fade? When Fade's not on screen, everyone's asking, where's Fade? No Fade in this movie. Sorry, spoilers. No. There's no Fade. no Sting. No,
I don't know what that is, but okay.
Yeah, you'll find out. So there's that element. No Emperor. No Space Navigate. Although there is that. There's a very odd beginning to this movie where I was wondering, did we lose a scene?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think Ian and I both feel exactly the same way on that front. But what about you? You've only seen the Jodorowsky documentary on his failed attempt at making Dune. So,
yes.
What was this like for you?
For me, this was just like a really good movie. You know, it's
All right, good night, folks. Thanks. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Alrighty, I'm out. When my first, I wanted to text this to you and I completely forgot, Ian. I'm sorry, but this about halfway through the first act, my thought was, this is what Ian calls cinema. This is that look.
The Bong Joon-ho.
It's like, yeah, that's like, this is cinema, and it's because it's beautiful. If there's any word that describes this movie's visuals, it's lush. It doesn't take anything away from any of it. I think you're not you're not sort of sucked in. Well, you're sucked in by the imagery, but you're not distracted by it.
Yeah.
Although
These
there is
movies.
there is one shot of an ornithopter, I think, at the palace at night with like a white sky behind it or something, or maybe it's daytime, but it's like it's a room in shadow. There's an ornithopter. I think it's right before they go to the spice grounds.
Uh-huh.
And it's like black, and it's like white in the middle of the screen, and the ornithopter is silhouetted, and I'm like, "Fuck me, that looks wicked."
There's so many. There's so many. Just like really
but there's so
great
many
shots
moments
here. Yeah.
when the dot is showing up and Paul is walking through the hologram. Oh, it looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many of those just beautiful, and even just the opening of this movie. The fuck, I'm gonna get this wrong. What is the planet where the House of Atreides was?
Caladan.
Yeah, that just does that beautiful lushness to the greens and the water, and I kept thinking to myself, I'd love to have those sequences on like my Apple TV screensaver thing.
Yeah.
Because that
Caladan.
would be just beautiful.
Caladan, the planet where all the parking spaces are underwater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful imagery, but I'm like, how do you get down to the ship before it takes off?
Yeah, they show you how they do it. Yeah, I mean when the emperor emperor imperial, am I getting it wrong?
Baron Harkonnen, bad guy.
No, the guy above him, the guy that sent the Atreides to.
Oh, when his
right.
the emperor's
when his envoy shows up.
Yeah.
There's that beautiful sort of
yeah
setup, right? Because the House Atreides, they're all wearing really dark gray uniforms, and the envoy is in this super papal white, really weird looking fish bowls on their head, but it was beautifully designed.
And he brought Daft Punk with him because it's an
And he
important mission.
brought Daft Punk, yeah,
correct,
because it's a long ride, it's a long drive over, so they had to have music. Yeah.
But I think that's why the movie succeeds, right? Especially even for fans of Dune. So I think we've been disappointed so many times. Like there's stuff with the Lynch, which is great. There's stuff in the sci-fi series which works. It's just that we've never had something where everything has kind of looked this good, and where I think Villeneuve succeeds.
Yeah.
But where he succeeds is he seems to have made an incredible translation of what we've seen in the books. Like I don't need a Dune movie. I'm really happy with the fucking book. It's really great. But if someone does it, I want it to be good. This is the like Timothée Chalamet is Paul now to me. He works it. It's really good. And Rebecca Ferguson's amazing. And fucking Oscar Isaac, I hate the fact that he's in it for so little. It drives me up the wall because he was so good.
I think he gets more he gets more time than Jurgen Proch now, doesn't he?
He does. He does get a lot more than any other Leto Atreides. And the visuals and even Hans Zimmer's score, I found, while it may not be something that I buy the vinyl to, it fit the film incredibly well.
Yeah.
The space bagpipes for a bit much.
Yeah.
And also
I was a bit weird about that.
Just the driving drums, man. Ooh.
The drums.
The drums were good, but I couldn't get the trailer out of my head because that cover of the Pink Floyd song was so good that I kept expecting that to kick in. I wanted that to kick in, which is not what this movie. It shouldn't.
But he did the cover, right?
Yeah. It says the Zimmer mix when you see it on Spotify. But you do get a lot of chanting and stuff in there, but it does feel like. If I watch it again, it's the same. I'll probably figure out whether it's actually different worlds, different locations have different sounds, because there is a lot more space bagpipes at certain times. Other times there's choral elements, and then I think Gady Prime and the Harkonnen are just drums, lots of drums, right? But Bahir, did you find the story cinematic? Like it had a beginning, a middle, and end?
For me, there was something else I was gonna say as well. This felt like, to go back to the joke we had earlier, this feels like a cinematic movie. It feels like the first cinematic movie I've seen in a very, very long time. Sure, we went to see Free Guy, but this feels like cinema. There are sweeping shots. There's spaceships. There are different planets. There's sun setting and sunrises. It was beautiful.
But also there are stakes, right? Like things happen to these characters.
Yes.
So many ornithopters. Yes. So many ornithopters.
So many. And I will say, I'm on board with the ornithopters.
Ornithopters,
cool.
They whip.
They're and to quote you earlier, Ian, they slap.
They totally slap.
Yeah.
They whip. They both
totally
whip
slap,
and
yeah.
slap. That's how they fly. They whip the wings and they slap the air.
I thought no. For me, okay. Look, for me, seeing as how this is probably the between the three of us, the movie is the freshest for me, right? Because I had no idea any of these characters. I didn't know what the storyline was going to be. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what happens to Leto. I didn't know what happens to Paul. But
Oh, nice. So there were genuine surprises for you.
oh no, absolutely.
Cool.
Everything was a genuine surprise. And again, I think as we left the cinema, I think Ian asked me what I felt. I was like, I'm completely on board with this. I want a part 2 now. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I might want to buy this on Blu-ray because this feels like a movie I might want to rewatch just because I have it.
And that plays into something you said after the screening as well. Plays into a question we have from Daphne, who says, "Did IMAX make a difference to the visuals?" Dumb question, I know, but I have to ask. Not a dumb question, but it really does. Like we saw it in IMAX, and the IMAX, like there was certain. I thought there was some shots. I don't know whether they were zoomed or there was weirdness going on. The moons looked a bit weird to me, but there were other shots like that. Contrast one earlier. Some of the ornithopter stuff in the sandstorm and the Sauda car and stuff like that. Like the Lynch version, Caladan and the palace on Arrakis seemed very cramped a little bit. This is wide. This is a widescreen house.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
also,
definitely
a note
worth
on
that.
that, Ian. There is definitely a problem with the IMAX at 1U being darker because I mentioned it to Fox because I had the same problem when watching Black Widow and it felt a little dimmer. And the Fox people have informed the exhibitors because they said even when they watched it in their own screening room, it was brighter.
Yeah, because I was crying out for Bahir's most hated film thing, which is like, can we have a blue light on these night scenes, please? Because the climax, I think it was just at the end. It was just like, because we have, they make the fall of Arrakeen, they give that that's where they live. They give that the cinematic treatment, like you said. That is a big battle. That is like, that's like when that's the fall of Gondor, as it were. And that really felt like, okay, this doesn't feel like something that has to happen to get the story going as it does in some of the other versions.
Yeah. But also, unlike Tolkien, Herbert spells out a lot of the battles. Tolkien sometimes skips past the battles.
Yes.
And this one captures a lot of what's in the novel.
So. On the third day, Gandalf turned up and they won. The end.
my only thing about this movie, and again, I don't know if it's a book thing, in fact, I don't know if it's a Denis Villeneuve thing, but in its 2 hour 40 minutes, 2 hour 50,
35, 235, isn't it? 235.
Yeah.
I think,
235. Okay. Yeah. It. I wouldn't say rushed is not the right word, but it feels very full.
There's
it's
a lot.
Full 235. You know what I mean? It's not. There
it doesn't feel like
moments.
there's fat, right? Things are just like
No.
plot,
There isn't,
plot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even
I mean,
even at the beginning,
you couldn't cut any of those scenes of Timothée Chalamet looking through his hair. You just couldn't. The movie wouldn't work without them.
And
I can't do it. I don't have a fringe. I can't even try to do it.
and that might sound like hyperbole, but it's true.
Yeah.
Those, because they feel like trailer shots, but in the movie they fit so fucking well. Like every time he pauses, you go like, I know why there's a pause there, and that's what I mean by it feels cinematic, right? There are these beats and there are the moments, there are these breaths that the movie takes that. Even with all these breaths, it feels so full. There's and that was like sort of my one complaint in that it felt like it was moving too fast almost. I wanted it to slow down a little bit. Like I'd love to have seen House Atreides sort of settle in Arrakis a little bit, like unpack all those to
be fair, even in the books, they're not allowed to settle.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay. Okay. So that's fine.
Although the line from the trailer, the Benny Gesserit line about like Arrakis is a trap, isn't in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if is that a book line or is that a trailer line?
I think that's a trailer line.
But it's not in the because it's Arrakis. There's an idea that like what does an animal do when it's in a trap, and like Arrakis itself is a trap.
Right.
Admiral.
Was that a
Admiral,
Lynch movie line?
I don't know. It could be, but it was definitely in the trailer. I think that Arrakis is a trap, and seeing a trap. What do you do when you? There's something about seeing a trap. I know that is definitely from the Lynch thing. I could have sworn it was in the trailer. Now it might have been just inserted for that. Also, there's a certain point. When was it? Right before the spitting games at the contest at the big at the Duke's Tribal Council meeting.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I was hearing the theme from Twin Peaks. There was like a little bit of it in there.
Could have been a
'cause
cute homage.
It could have been.
Oh.
It could have been. It did sound a little bit like I couldn't get that out of my head. There's something else as well that was very, very Lynchian about something. I can't remember what that was. There's something else as well, but say on Chalamet. Yeah, Chardonnay on Timothy Chardonnay. You do get something we haven't seen, which is that like after the freak out in the tent, like you do get to feel he's growing as an adult. Like there is a progression in the character, which I didn't think that I got from a lot of other things. Like it's not just the staring in the camera. He's a little bit childish. He's a little bit like I want to go with Duncan.
Yes.
We've buried the lead massively on this. Denis Villeneuve loves Jason Momoa, but like
Yes, he does.
But so does Paul. Paul wants to go with Duncan on the initial trip.
Yeah.
I don't think that was part of it either, was it? That he has in the book that he has a vision of Duncan.
No, he doesn't have a vision of Duncan dying.
I bit that back. I wasn't going to say that word, but you said it, so I don't know.
It's a 40-year-old book. Okay, anyway, but
Well, I will say I would have been disappointed had I been told that.
Because was that shocking to you? Was it?
It was kind of shocking. I still have, until I mentioned it to you guys, and you guys sort of put all my dreams to the shredder. I still had that like, oh, we didn't see him actually die on screen. I was still doing that thing of like,
didn't see a body.
Well, I wanted to bring this up earlier when you were talking about the changes they want to make for part 2. The next part 2, all Duncan Idaho all the time. Paul's not in it.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to make 3 movies, I think I'd love to watch a Duncan Idaho sort of
origin story.
There is. I mean, is God Emperor Dune the 3rd one or Chapter House Dune is the 4th?
Yeah, I can't remember the order. I have it behind you.
God Emperor.
Yeah.
No, there's Green Dune. No, that's the there's God Emperor Dune, which is like later on, and there's Duncan Idaho. There's something Duncan
There's a
Idaho
rebirth.
shaped. Yeah.
Yes.
Because of technology that like if they ever get that far, that'd be wild.
Yeah. The later books go fucking crazy.
Because it's like it's already the year is 10,191. So I did like that they have a very similar. It's weird. It's coming out after Foundation because, like I said in my Foundation review when I googled it, Dune was a bit of a reaction to Foundation because Isaac Asimov's Foundation was like the idea that the future is set, but like scientists will eventually make it better. Whereas Frank Herbert was like everything can get fucked at any moment, and like there's so many paths. And the fact that Paul can maybe see some of those paths and can choose between them doesn't make it any easier, and doesn't make it doesn't always make things better for the universe. As it hints a little bit of that. I thought they could have sold the jihad a bit more, or the holy war, the kind of.
Well, I think that feels like because the only kind of thing we see of that is through visions, right? And Paul's visions. It feels like that's what the second movie is going to be about because they've kind of kept this movie really clean with regards to the fall of House Atreides.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's how he's kind of split it up because like Dune itself, the novel is book 1 and book 2, like part 1, part 2 in the novel. And part 2 is just called Muad'Dib. And this one goes like 100 pages into part 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
The fight with Jamis, right?
Exactly. The fight with Jamis. It ends at that bit.
Who was the person? I'm lost a bit. Who was the person in the vision who said, "I will teach you the way"? That wasn't Javier Bardem.
No, and it wasn't Jamis either.
Yeah.
It was someone else, and I don't know who that character is. Also, we aren't told much about Zendaya's character as well, which I thought was quite smart, especially if you've never read the book. Because then there's more surprises in movie 2.
Yeah, and there was something at the end of the end of this movie. There's a reaction, and I was like, she says something that is very much like, "Wait till they get a load of me," kind of like, "Wait till you see what's coming in part 2." And I was like, this is completely out of character for what we've seen of you do in the last 5 minutes. It felt kind of weird. Did you find the ending satisfying, Bahir?
So I think for me there was a moment there were a couple of moments right before where it ends where I thought I was ready for it to end. And then we went a bit more, and I just felt like I felt the problem was I was spent already by then because of what had just happened. I was so like, oh, but I was like, okay, I don't know if it was a great place to end, but emotionally I was already tired. I was spent. I wanted to, like, okay, I needed the lights to come on. I needed to go get a Coke and end the movie, but
process.
And process,
Drink
right?
some
Because
water after watching all that desert. I brought
I
plenty
needed
of
a Coke.
I brought
Dude,
so
I
much
needed-
water with me. I was like, just pouring. You know, you see
We-
you see the people in the desert pouring it over their face, just doing that in the back row. Fucking hell.
we had to go for lunch, and I had to have. I think I had like 3 cups of Coke. I think, yeah. It was just like, but I think there was the moment after that just felt. I know why that is a perfect ending to book one of a movie
To
one of a
kickstart,
two-parter.
yeah.
Yeah, because had they ended where I think it would have, I wouldn't say should, but where it had originally thought it would have ended, to start the next one where it starts would have been weird, I think.
Because it is
Because they needed that next moment. I think.
There's a load. I think I know what you're talking about, those different endings, but like no matter where you choose to split it, it's the Empire Strikes Back into Return of the Jedi. It's not Star Wars into Return of the Empire Strikes Empire. There's no.
Yeah.
I was surprised they went as far as they did. Like this is what 2 hours into the Lynch cut. BuzzPop TV just that online. Do you think there actually is a 6-hour cut? I don't think I think it would be.
I think there's a working edit.
Or is it? I don't even know if it's that. There was just a script. It's like everyone gets caught up over these things. The movie you get is the movie you get. 6 hours is not a movie. Like Foundation is a TV show, and it's working really well within that. And even within that structure, there are moments where you can get lost. There are moments where it repeats things that I feel like they don't need to. In this,
I mean,
this is what we needed. I was watching it, going through my mental checklist, I don't think I felt like I missed anything.
Yeah, and I think it's that idea. It's that 6 hour, 8 hour, 9 hour, 24 days Snyder Cut version thing. And I think that sort of ruins it for people because, yes, you can have a 24-hour cut of a movie. Of course you can.
But you want the director to make decisions, right? You want the director to be like,
Exactly. Take us on a story. Don't show us all the stories. We don't need it. We need the one story. And I think, would I want, you know what I want? I want a 6-hour cut of all the B-roll footage of the first planet they were on. That's what I want. Like
Caladan the movie.
You know, one of those YouTube screensavers that's just never ending. Right?
Absolutely.
Paul's summer vacation surfing in Caladan.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd be up for that. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Foundation, Ian, because I think it's interesting. A lot of the reviews that came out for Foundation was, look out, Dune, Foundation is here kind of thing. Yeah. But I have to say they're two very different things.
Yeah.
Like,
they
the
are.
stories are very different. Yeah. The philosophical approaches are very different. And
the adaptation, the process of adaptation is also very different.
Completely different.
This is so foundational in its approach in taking the book, whereas the Foundation is like, this is never going to work as a TV show or a movie, but if we move these things here, smush these characters together here, do this over here, and then run this
create
thread
a whole bunch of new characters as well,
and then we put Australian Space Wolverine in it, we got a hit.
Yeah.
You got a hit.
You haven't got to Australian Space Wolverine yet, but when he turns up, it's great.
Okay, cool.
When you pick up Foundation, like the first book is very thin, and you read it, you're like, no, this is just two people in a room arguing about stuff. Like, it will never make for great television.
Two people in a room arguing about stuff. So just like Midnight Mass.
Kind of. Only.
Not as good.
It's not even an argument. It's a philosophical debate, and so. It's wordplay and semantics, and Goya had to add drama and action and explosions, right?
Yeah.
Dune has drama, action, political intrigue, murder, explosions. It's got all of that stuff baked into the novel already, and so I can understand
It's got witches.
It's got witches. It's got fucking space witches, right? And I can understand why Villeneuve wanted to remain as faithful as he did. The one thing that surprised me, which I think might be a misstep, I don't know if it's a misstep or not, but during the Venice interview panel, the Venice Film Festival when it premiered, Josh Brolin said something interesting. He was talking about how he had screened the movie with a friend of his who was a super Dune fan. And apparently when he was watching this with his friend, this guy was on the floor. He was blown away. He was just like crying, right?
There's no other seats in Brolin's house.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one seat for Brolin.
One seat, just for Brolin.
Thanos' throne.
Right? and when Streisand comes to visit, you know. But and he was blown away, and Brolin kind of prefaced that by saying, "Oh, I know we're not supposed to talk about the fandom." And that's interesting because it feels like Warner is trying not to sell this as a fanboy movie. They're trying to keep away from the idea that, oh, this is exactly what the fans want, for fear that it might put off people. But watching this film, and like in the few moments while I was watching this and I was able to remove myself as a Dune fan, I think I felt that epic space opera
Yes.
feel was there.
Yeah, but it's that mixed with like prestige film, because it is like I think that goes into the marketing. They haven't been doing like, behind the book or any of that kind of stuff. It's like, this is a space movie. Like, this is, it is an exceptionally weird movie and an exceptionally weird bet. Like, it's a weird story to start with, and it's one of those things that like maybe think people say they shouldn't do an adaptation of, but they're doing it. And it looks good, and I think I'm just too close to it to know whether I loved it or not. I'm like, that's Dune. All over, just Dune from top to bottom.
Dune.
Yeah.
It's
Dune.
And
that's like, but that's like, it's not, doesn't fall into sci-fi, doesn't fall into action, doesn't fall into adventure.
Yeah.
It's Dune, or as opposed to says Dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, coming to this, out of the three of us, coming to this as the guy with as little baggage as you can coming into this movie, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I think the fanboy element is one thing, but like, off the top of my head, this is the movie my parents would love. Yeah. They're not massive sort of like sci-fi space opera guys, but they'd enjoy this, I think. Because
you think the characters are #relatable?
It's not even that. It's just there's a good story there, right? It's like, I find it very hard for me to convince them to try out Foundation, because Foundation feels so heavy in its onloading, right? There's so much you got to take in. There's all these planets, there's all these logics, there's this universe, there's the rules that you have to play.
And
that was like, no, this is a movie.
No, but it goes back to the naming schemes of things, man. Like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Even between Dune, Foundation, Shadow and Bone, and The Witcher, things like Caladan are easy to pronounce. And it goes, but it goes a long way. Like, even in my brain, I'm just like, that's simple. House Atreides. There are lots of vowels.
People can have problems with that. I mean, if you get the I&E there, it could be a bit of a mix for some people. Gady Prime, Sardaukar, like, when I read that, I think maybe I'd seen the book and read the book and seen the movie at the same time, so I had an idea how it was pronounced. When you see that written down, you're like, And
that's true.
The Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, come on now. I think, but it also...
Okay, Kwisatz Haderach. Yeah, okay.
Kwisatz Haderach, I mean, they put that in the subs the whole time so we could see that was. Because that was another slight problem I had, was that there was an awful lot of whispered vision stuff going on, and I couldn't hear any of it.
But
the subtitles helped.
They become... but the whispered stuff becomes clearer at the end. So I found that the audio becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. So as we reach the end of the film... As his visions
get clearer,
then you hear the words like really sharp.
That's when he gets his because like parts of this movie are rose gold and gunmetal. The movie. That's when he gets his gold filter near the end, and that you can say like, this is a vision because it's in gold.
I have to say, I can firmly say that I loved it, because for me this is the Dune version that I wanted to see. If they had never made this, I would be completely fine. My life would be okay. I would read the book again. But given that someone has made a film, it is exactly like how I saw it. And I think I think this is a movie made by someone who took the care and the time to understand the kind of core messages of the book, right? Because like our criticism of Free Guy was that, oh my God, there are so many themes and no focus. This one has so many themes, but it felt very focused. And I think that's because they're channeling Herbert's writing, because
it's on the screen.
It's on the screen. Yeah. And so in that sense, I went in expecting, I hope I get a good adaptation. And this is one of those rare moments where I will go, being as faithful as they did was not a problem. And I don't know if that's because, I don't know. I think, Herbert is quite cinematic, despite all of that ecology stuff and the history stuff. Like when he's describing the hand in the fucking box, or when the Bene Gesserit mother is like conspiring with Lady Jessica, it's very cinematic in its execution, even in the book. So I think that stuff's very easy to translate to screen.
Yeah.
Like Dune is not something that's unadaptable. I think it's adaptable as long as you have the time and the money to do it.
It's the scale, right?
It's the scale.
You have to treat it with the respect that the scale demands.
Yeah, because I used to think you need a series. I used to think, oh wait, you need like a 10-episode series for Dune. Then only then can you do it justice. But I think what Villeneuve has pulled off in these 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then in book 2, I think that's about nice. Like just enough. I don't need 10 episodes. Like I'm good. You don't have to trip into Children of Dune. It's fine.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's something that Children of Dune is the next one after. Yeah. I think there's bits in there that need to come across. Although that's weird. That's where it becomes a soap, right?
Yeah, actually, there's a whole bunch of characters we haven't seen. Like in the Lynch movie, I think we see Irulan a lot earlier. We see the Emperor.
Yeah, but she barely factors into the story, I think, in the book, right?
In the story.
But the Emperor himself, like, we don't get to see the Emperor. I presume that was a space navigator at the beginning, or was it just some weird vision voice? I don't know. We didn't, like, they said they needed 3 space guild navigators to bring the Highliner. Didn't even call it Highliner, right? To Caladan. No. That was like the amount of like expense. This is also accounting the movie. The expense of everything is they counted up a lot. They're like, wow, the expense of bringing this here. It's like, wow.
I like that. That was cool.
That's a nice touch. Yeah. But when they say there's like 3 space navigators, and then there's like 6 or 7 guys in white with helmets, it's like, well, they're not the navigators, I guess then. So I want to see a navigator.
I'm always just hoping navigator looks fucking weird.
Right? Yeah. You want to see like if again you probably got that. They show pretty early in the Lynch movie, and that scene's not in the book, right? Do you get to see a navigator at all?
With that black thing moving in. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, but do you get to see a navigator at all in the book? Did they play into it?
I know they do describe the navigators. Ooh, I have my prop right here.
I've been carrying, and just so you know, folks, he's been carrying that all bloody day, like since this morning.
I've been looking up stuff because I've been like, oh wait, where was that bit in the book? That's why I was like, oh, Jamis, and I was looking, oh, page 299. What?
Yeah, because I
what a loser.
That for some, I don't know, maybe it's just Everett. Like I said, I was looking for Everett McGill, but like that's Jamis. I was like, oh, that's Jamis. Before he popped up, I was like, oh, I can. If you'd asked me about that yesterday, I would have said, what the fuck are you talking about? But today
who's
was like
Jamis, right? But it's like
it came right beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the same when they're picking the housing, when they're picking the staff, and it's like, what's your name? It's like, Shut Out Mapes. And I had to like hold myself down from going, Shut Out Mapes!
Shut Out Mapes!
It's such a great name. I love that name. It's brilliant. And it was played by, not Helen Hunt, what's her name? The lady who was in NCIS.
Huh?
The one with, not NCIS, the one with LL Cool J and McConnell.
That's NCIS LA.
NCIS LA, yeah. She was the boss lady in that. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out, mates. You gotta give a shout out to the shout out. Come on, man.
Yay.
I wasn't expecting the name of that dagger thing. That tickled me. I like that.
The Chris knife.
Yeah. Okay, we can say it. I don't know why I was trying to hide it. But
that's all.
Ooh, Chris. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
May you survive in the Dune world.
It's like Antoine always said.
Yeah. It's like what Antoine always said.
It's spelt different though. It's got a Y instead of an I.
It's a Y. No, but that's fine. Krys, Kris.
I think some adaptations are called the Christ knife, right? Instead, it depends.
Christ knife. Oh,
wasn't there something about when you use it, you have to do so, or it doesn't need to have blood, right? That's something else. Does it damage?
No, it doesn't need to have blood.
Is it damage if after it doesn't? If you unsheath it, does it not damage? I'm thinking just like it's a general thing in other movies. I thought it was something about like it would rot if not used properly or not used. If you don't use it, it rot, right?
It was always run with blood.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh.
I swear that's in a whole bunch of samurai movies.
Yeah,
now, so.
Yeah. I'm not sure what confused about that.
But no, I think as a consensus, do you need a? I mean, do you like Ian? You said you weren't sure. Do you need another watch before you can come to a consensus?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm just like too close to it. I might need to be like Halley's Comet and leave the solar system for a while and come back around to it because it's when I see the harvester, I'm like, oh, that looks a little bit like the one from Dune. That looks like it doesn't. I'm expected David Lynch to turn up on the radio saying, "We're still harvesting, sir." You know.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in my head when I'm watching it that it's hard to to keep the memories, keep the noise down. I'm trying to watch the movie, so I found myself not able to. Like I was looking at my watch, going like, it's 12:45. The screening started at 10:30. It's 12:45. This movie's got to wrap up by 1:05.
Yeah.
Where are they going to cut it?
Right.
Yeah, same.
And I couldn't, like, that kind of box ticking drove myself mad. I drove myself mad with it, but that's because I don't know. It was like I was looking at it like a play I'd seen of a play I'd also loved years before in a way. So it's like this is interesting, but I couldn't I found myself not able to engage with it on a emotional level as much as I would have liked. Maybe it's just because of the space bagpipes.
Can I ask have how familiar are you guys now at this moment with the David Lynch version? So, if I was to ask you a comparison question between the two, would you be able to answer me? Because or you just haven't seen it in a while. So for me, there were two things that I wanted to ask. Why? Okay, so in the David Lynch Dune, I fucking noped out when we first see Baron Harkonnen.
Baron Harkonnen.
Harkonnen. Sorry, yes.
It wasn't. He's not Agatha. He's not Agatha's uncle. It was the Baron Harkonnen all along.
It was the Baron all along. Yeah.
So in the David Lynch version, I noped out when we first meet the Baron.
Because he's gross.
Right. It's not even just because he's gross, because at that point I realized I had no idea what this movie was the fuck about.
Did you realize the guy standing beside him was the great Brad Dourif?
Who?
Brad Dourif, he was Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. He also licked a... He's Chucky. He's the voice of Chucky.
He's the voice of Chucky.
He was the guy licking the glass in Alien Resurrection.
He's in a lot of Star Trek episodes.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, so that was the question I had, because okay, for first question does it happen about the same time in the movies? These two sequences So that was the other question I had. Why was I so fucking lost in the Lynch version? But when we see the Baron, I was like, yep, there's a political problem here. The Baron, I knew exactly what was going on.
It's toned down slightly. They don't have heart plugs they rip out of their people for fun in the Lynch version. And I think this probably goes back more to the books. I think Lynch probably took it to an extreme. But the idea that like the Baron, it's that, his corpulent form matches the depravity of his mind, right? Like he needs... They don't really show him his excesses. There was that weird fucking spider thing. Was that in the books? What the fuck was that?
No, what was that?
That was like, hey, look, we've genetically engineered this horrifying pet. And like... Get your... I don't want to talk to you. I don't want your dog in the same room. It's like my mum going around to my auntie's house after the dog bit her once. Like, don't want that thing in the room when I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a good dog. There's a weird... I was like, where the fuck is this? There's no aliens in this universe as far as we know.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just a gross thing though. Like, I don't know if it's just a gross out thing with the Lynch. I think this movie is very... but this movie is very clean. And I think that's what it is. The visuals are very clean. It feels...
The Baron's big, but he's not got all those weird puss-weeping sores that were just off-putting in that as well. But I mean, like...
The Baron thing.
Yeah, because with the Baron, he is incredibly theatrical in that, and he flies up into the ceiling and is laughing his ass off like a big, jolly, evil Santa. Yeah. And they pull the heart plugs out of their underlings for funsies. Like, there's a weird... Everyone has does not have a reverse mohawk. It's shaved in the middle of their head instead of like shaved around the rest of their head.
Yes.
So, and it's incredibly broad, incredibly overlit. Katie Prime, like the planet is black, but when you get inside, it's all this like, it looks like the J.J. Abrams Starship Enterprise bridge, where it's like it's industrial, but like got a nice bright room to hang out in. Whereas in this, it's like, no, we're big fans of H.R. Geiger, and our eyes can see in the dark or something, and we're fine with that. Like, everyone's bald in our world. We love it. It's 10,000 years of male pattern baldness throughout the race. It's everywhere.
No, but it's just that I realized that I'm only using that point because that was the point when I gave up on the Lynch version. Whereas here, when we got to that point in the Villeneuve version of the movie, I realized that I was very much invested. I was on board.
I genuinely
knew what was happening.
I genuinely think it's a prettiness thing. I genuinely think it's a prettiness thing.
Maybe
I think the movie is so visually appealing that it keeps you invested. Which isn't to say the Lynch version isn't, because he had some zany fucking ideas in that film. But that feels a lot more experimental. This one feels like epic blockbuster cinema, right? It's like if you watch Blade Runner 2049 and the original Blade Runner as well. I just use another Villeneuve comparison. Blade Runner, because of budgetary concerns and all of that stuff, Ridley Scott went gritty, right? And so
Right.
you had those magnificent vistas in the beginning of the film, but a lot of the stuff was street level, and he
was
kept
tight,
it gritty. But with this, and using models and all of that stuff. But I guess with Villeneuve, when you have those orange skies and all of these magnificent visuals, I think it does make it a lot more immersive.
So just on that, should you also pair 2016's Arrival with 1996's The Arrival starring Charlie Sheen? Is that a double we should do?
I remember that Sheen movie being really lame.
It was bad. The aliens had backwards legs, and they were talking about it and all the press stuff. I think, but the other thing I think that maybe made it more, again, to use I should get on a t-shirt at this point, #relatable, was we got to spend, I think, maybe more time with Paul and everyone else as normal people and as not weird space people. And also, it does come back to Denis Villeneuve loves Duncan Idaho / Jason Momoa, because Jason Momoa rocks up into this joint like he literally just walked out of the bar here in this time. Like, he's unchanged. 8,000 years of history, human history and evolution has not changed him at all.
And
everyone else is talking about Dune, Arrakis, whatever. He's just checking out. He's just shooting the engine on a sweet ride. You know what I mean? He's just like, hey, Paul, my boy, how you doing? You know, he's just like, he's the cool uncle. And he talks like a normal person. He talks, he's not, you know, Gurney Halleck is fucking never, he only comes down from 10 to go back up again to 27. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, you don't realize your entire life is going to be murder and death from now on. You need to be ready for it. Whereas Duncan's like, hey, how's it going, my man? My man.
But all of those early moments in the film, I think, contribute to that, because every interaction that Paul has with his mom, with Gurney, that magnificent interaction with Paul, with Leto at the gravesite.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. If you only do this, then you'll have achieved everything I ever wanted. And it's like, gotta call your dad when you get home.
And I think all of those 5 key moments, like, just set you up for the film.
Yeah, there's a weird, and this sort of threw me a bit for a loop. There's a weird subtitle translation thing for when Duncan Idaho first meets Paul Atreides.
Okay.
Because
when he gets out of a sweet ride.
Yeah. So Ian did a great sort of version of Duncan Idaho there, and he says, "Paul, my boy." In the subtitle, it says, "Paul adikku," or adik, as in
my little brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa, okay, because that was they're siblings. Okay, cool.
It's kind of their relationship, but they're not siblings. Yeah.
Or is it like I don't know? Was a Chinese kind of inflection of the little brother? You know, that kind of thing as well. You know, your little brother, little sister family as well.
Eventually, I figured out that it was like a, like my boy, as in my boy, not as in my son, kind of thing. Yeah.
Because that's another thing, was like the use of Chinese in this movie. Like, there is Mandarin in it, which was odd. I mean, the casting was great with the different, types of people. Don't want to say races, but different types of people. But like when they used the made up language, it wasn't a made up language. It was actually Mandarin. And I don't know, was Jessica actually just using ASL, or was it Benny Gesserit? Because I think in the Lynch version, it was much more like there was an element of, and I think it's sold more in the book as well. It's like even tinier movements, like they can talk to each other without it's literally muscle twitches in their face.
Right. I like that though. I like that there's I wouldn't say a secret language, but
kind of like between mother and son, right? Yeah.
No, but she uses it again with the doctor as well.
Oh yeah, she uses it with you.
So it's not like a secret language between people. It's everybody knows it. It's just. There's a thing. I think it kind of builds into the houses have their own things. Like even I was surprised when Jessica signals the guard to say expect violence when she's talking to the shut out mates. Shut out. Yeah.
I forgot that they would do it. Like they would. There's one language for the guards that's a bit more overt than there's like Benny Gesserit will have a conversation to each other, and someone just sees 2 women standing stone still. You know what I mean?
Right.
What did you think of the voice?
I quite liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah,
it made sense. You figured you knew exactly what it was from when they talked about it, when they started talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, from that from that breakfast sequence. And that was a great moment because it's something that Uma mentioned earlier. It's a beautiful moment of mother and son. Like, he says, I think she says, your father wants you in full dress. And then he goes, military or ceremonial? No, ceremonial, yeah. So and then she says like, and then she pours the water, and he says thanks, and then she goes, "Make me pass it to you." I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" And then they do that thing.
This
with
is
the voice.
incredibly passive aggressive first thing in the morning. Make me,
Whoa.
you little shit.
And even then, Paul's like, "Mom, it's like, I just woke up.
I just woke
right?
up.
Like,
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for your Jedi mind tricks first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Jedi mind exercises. Yeah.
I liked how they used the feminine tones in the voice as well to kind of reflect the Bene Gesserit and what he was supposed to be, etc., etc. Yeah, I quite like the voice.
And like, for a guy who doesn't know anything about it, that would have been the perfect time for a stupid studio executive to get Lady Jessica to drop in a monologue. Oh, we are the Bene Gesserit.
And I think the Lynch version does that, right? There's voiceover. There's much voiceover in that version.
There's a lot of voiceover in the Lynch version.
Yeah. So like that would have been the perfect time for it, like because she would be like, oh no, you know of my people. We have to, these are the special. I'm just like, no, don't give me that shit.
Cut
give
it
it
out,
to me
right?
later.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And that was a beautiful moment. Yeah.
I did think Rebecca Ferguson's role was. I mean, Jessica is complicated, in all the like I can't remember the actress who plays her in Dune. She's like, her look is amazing, the way she has her hair and that weird thing is amazing, and everything she does is amazing, but she does bounce back and forth between I can kill every motherfucker in this room without them realizing it, like when they say no one, the Reverend Mother Helen Mohayim.
Yep.
When she's like, Jessica's watching the door, ain't nobody coming to save you, kid.
Yeah.
But then she's like freaking out other times. It's like her composure is breaking all the time. And the further they get to the desert, the weaker. It's weird seeing Rebecca Ferguson playing a character who's not like beating the shit out of Tom Cruise all the time.
Yeah.
But that moment of her outside the door was also very, very good. It was great because I didn't know what could happen. You guys knew what could happen. She knows what could happen.
Yeah.
So so like I'm like Paul, right? In the sense that
what's in the box?
I mean, he also says the line.
He does say the line. It was like Peter Griffin. It's like Peter Griffin. It's probably like, hey, he says the line. He said the thing.
Yeah. It's like, you get those words can never be uttered in that form ever again. But anyway,
I was surprised they did it.
Yeah, like Paul's got his hand in the box and he doesn't know what's going to happen. He's in pain. I don't know. So for her to be breaking down outside the door, because she knows it's a test, right? She knows that if he flinches, if he decides to pull his hand, needle goes in the side of his neck.
Yeah.
It's not a needle.
And also she's powerless in the face of
her
Reverend Mother.
Yeah. Because she knows that that's the ultimate test.
And it was also
I love that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if Kyle MacLachlan does it, but like Paul really gets a handle on things in this one. It sells it, right? It really sells it. He's like, oh, my hand. Wait, no. Fuck you, bitch.
I know. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I think that was the best character development, or the way they changed Paul a little bit compared to the sci-fi version and even the Lynch version, where they made him incredibly childish to begin with. And it kind of played into that petulance, which I found very annoying.
But it is. I said to you after the screening, it is the Luke Skywalker thing. He's supposed to be a shitty, annoying kid, and then he has to...
Because he's only 15, right, in the books. But I think Chalamet plays that very well. Like, he strikes that balance very well. And it's like he doesn't behave petulantly in front of his father. I like that dynamic as well. He behaves very differently between his mom and his dad, which is kind of cool.
And that moment in the tent, the tent moment is like
tent moment
when he uses the voice to say, "Get away from me."
Yes.
Yeah. It's a changing point for the whole thing.
There's also like only and that was one of the questions I had when he first came out of the movie about how old Paul was supposed to be, because there are only a handful of moments where it feels like he was young. The breakfast sequence was one, when he says he's still sleepy. The other one was when they first arrive on Arrakis and they're walking out of that. There's that beautiful shot of everybody sort of slowly walking out of the ship, the sun's hitting everybody in the face, the sand.
Space backpacks.
And then space backpack guy. And then they see I don't know who that guy is, the accountant type guy.
Topher Howard.
Oh, Topher Howard, head of security.
Yeah, you've no idea what's going on with those guys with the thing on their lip and why their eyes go white, right?
I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. So, but as they were walking up, and Leto, and I think the father Leto sort of addresses him, and then Paul sort of runs out and sort of hugs him. I'm like, that's a very sort of juvenile action to do in this very ceremonial moment. But
Yeah.
again, yes, of course, he's fucking 15, right? So
Yeah.
so that worked out really well. So there were really nice small moments of him,
Yeah.
his
Just-
age showing almost. Yeah.
Just for you, the mentat, those are mentats because there has been a war with machines centuries prior. So
That's why.
I
Yeah.
think I think one of the laws of the empire is thou shalt not suffer a thinking machine to live, kind of thing. Right? Is it something like that, or is it like
Yeah.
machines
Yeah,
cannot
yeah, yeah.
think?
So wait, he's an
They're
android type guy?
anti-machine.
No. So there's no machines.
Oh.
So that's why the guild,
Oh.
you could use a navicomputer. You know, you got to get the navicomputer to calculate your jump to light speed. Otherwise, you could end
Yeah.
up in the heart of a star. But instead of using that, they use navigators. Who's banging?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Weird. It's like sliding.
Yeah.
So
So
there's
that's why
no
they
there's no
use people.
machines. The other thing, so like people are like trained to be like Rain Man times 1,000, so they can just like do mental
Right,
calculations,
right,
handle
right.
all that numbers. So people are computers essentially.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So him
right,
and Peter De Vries, who was
So-
wanted more from Das Malchen. What's his first name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a bit,
It
but
would, it would have been nice to see more of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Did he have more in the Lynch? But little. No.
Little bit.
I think about the same.
he had some of that. He had some of that. I will drink because it was the liquid he would drink that like their lips are stained red from the liquid they drink to make them super
Yeah.
brainy. And there's
Yeah.
some there's like a credo they have that they say when they do it.
So, highly recommended though. Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
Dune.
I
They
was
didn't.
just-
It's Dune, baby.
They didn't fuck it
Yeah.
up. They didn't screw it up. It's not right.
No, they didn't
Yeah.
at all. And I think, this is a kind of here's the other thing, right? And I hate saying this, but it's something we haven't had in a long time. It's adult cinema, like real adult cinema. And
yeah.
it's a rarity in in kind of the box office blockbuster world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't gonna make $1 billion, but at the same time, I think we highly recommend you go and check it out. It's one of those,
Yeah.
it's just one of those rare things where it's beautifully put together. It actually, I think, services the subject matter that it adapts really, really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, fans are so hard to predict, but I think fans are going to be happy with this.
And I'm
Yeah.
at the moment when I was wondering what what here really felt when he started talking about the Duke and everyone by name and talking about when they walk out into Arrakis and he's got all the terms down. He wasn't like, "What's the name of that place? What's the name of that planet?"
No, it's
Yeah,
all correct.
You guys,
It's all
You
down.
guys have worked with me long enough to know that
Yeah.
I screw that shit up all the time.
But
Hey,
that's
he's
insane.
only seen it
I'm on board,
once.
bro.
That's
He's
insane.
only
Yeah.
seen it once.
They've got you by the balls now, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I was just thinking to myself, like, this is the kind of movie where if there's nothing going on a Saturday afternoon, I'll just go like, do you want to go watch Dune again? It's like go to the closest cinema and just sit down and
Yeah.
watch it. Great 3 hours, then go for dinner.
Tickets are already on sale. And actually, the official site, dunemovie.com, actually takes you to dunemovie.com.my, where you can book directly.
Oh, nice.
It connects like TGV and GSC, and it gives you all the
You
timings and all
mean
that
they
stuff.
recognize Malaysia?
They do.
Wow, wee wah.
Which is very cool. So,
Yeah.
tickets are on sale now. We do urge you to watch it on IMAX if you
Yes.
can. If there's an IMAX cinema near you, it is
Yeah.
completely worth the extra dollars.
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, we've been speaking about it for a while. We want to hear everything you think about this film, especially if you've had no experience with Dune before. Like Ian said multiple times, Ian and me are very close to this. So
Yeah.
I think there's already a certain expectation in our brains whenever we go to watch this, and sitting there, we're already looking for so many key moments and checkpoints, right? And if you're going in blind, we really want to know what you think, and also whether this will bring you to the books.
On the right, it is opening on the third. The sneaks on the 13th.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Cool. And I think there's a competition going on. I think all the cinema chains are having competitions for like special fan screenings on the 11th and 12th, and you can look on social media and take part in that if you want free tickets too.
Someone this morning at our screening walked in with t-shirts, and we didn't get any fucking t-shirts. Did you see there was someone with a bag and they were holding it, going like, "Oh, this is my t-shirt." And I'm like, "What the? What?
Oh man!
What's that?" Although
we did get really cool Dune sand art.
Yeah, sand art. I was like, okay. I thought there were
I
stickers
mean,
or something.
Okay. Have you
It
guys
kind
seen
of fits.
Have you guys seen the Dune face mask?
No, it's the Atreides logo, right?
Logo.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Because
But I haven't opened it up
Which
yet.
is also, I don't like. It's the same logo as Noble Team from Halo to tie it back to Family Guy. Like it is like Noble Team from Halo Reach. I think it is. It's the same kind of angular winged bird.
bird. Yeah.
That
yeah.
Right.
that logo is like, okay, sure, just rip it off, I guess. But yeah.
But yeah, check out everything we've spoken about today. What If, Free Guy, Dune. Let us know what you think. You know how to reach out. All of our social media accounts, Goggler MY. You can also email us, podcast@goggler.my, and send us a WhatsApp on the Goggler hotline. That's 012-524-5208. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Goggler Podcast.
Apart from Dune Part 2, what am I supposed to look forward to now?
The Matrix.
Oh, yeah!